The debate over a potential tax increment finance district in Jasper is now heating up. More on that. Plus, Kimball Electronics has released its first financial report since becoming an independent company, and Kim Ficker and Debbie Barrett discuss events in Santa Claus tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, the debate is now heating up as Jasper City officials continue looking at tax increment finance districts. The Jasper City Council held a lengthy discussion surrounding TIF districts last night. Rich Starkey and Ed Curtin with CWC Latitudes gave a presentation to the council on what TIF districts can do for a city's economic development. The city has proposed an area for a TIF district. The new district would cover the majority of the industrial area in Jasper. It would stretch from an area near the Patoka River to as far north as 36th Street, as far south as the southern boundary of the city along US 231, and most of the city's east side. A declaratory resolution for the TIF was passed during Monday's Redevelopment Commission meeting. The TIF idea was met with mixed feelings, as mentioned. Councilman Kevin Manley was among those who voiced concerns. Manley pointed to the loss of money for the Greater Jasper School Corporation among other local entities. Members of the Du Bois County Council also were on hand last night to express their concerns about the impact that a TIF would have on county funding. Other affected entities would include the Jasper Public Library and even the Huntingburg Airport. Manley says he isn't sure that a TIF district is needed due to the success of the city's tax abatement program and other incentives.
I'm not convinced that this is the answer that's going to drive. I mean, right now in our county we have 1,000 jobs open, and I know it's a huge issue in the city of Jasper. So whether or not we need another thing in our toolkit to drive more economic development, we've got a lot of it going on right now.
Manley also expressed concerns about the timeline with the TIF district. A TIF district would be in place for up to 25 years. By contrast, tax abatements last 10 years at the most. Concerns also came up about the management structure for TIF. The money from the city's proposed TIF area would go to the Jasper Redevelopment Commission. They would then use that money to pay for projects that are already part of an improved plan or to help businesses. Major spending would have to be approved by the City Council. Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz remains a big supporter of a TIF district. He says it would be another opportunity for the city to be competitive. He also appreciates the feedback from citizens and the council on the idea.
This is an instrument that's used around the entire state. It's state sanctioned. It is written with laws from the legislature. Monies go through the clerk treasurer, and this enables us to again have some opportunity that would help our county continue to grow, specifically the city of Jasper, but we join the city of Huntingburg in the TIFs that they have, and they've had since 1990. So this is not new, it's just new to Jasper, and we're very patient in giving that opportunity for input from all the people that attended tonight, as well as great questions from our council. So it was a good evening.
The council is expected to make its final decision on TIF at next month's meeting. Jasper police are now warning folks about a possible scam involving the IRS. The department says they have received several reports of calls concerning back taxes. Police say the caller has been telling folks that they are several years behind on their taxes. The caller has then been giving out a phone number to call to take care of the back taxes. Police say the IRS does not call or send emails asking for money. They also say the IRS won't demand a payment over the phone or ask for debit and credit card information. The IRS also does not threaten anyone with police action for unpaid taxes. Now, Jasper police are asking folks not to give out any personal information if they receive one of the calls. Questions can be directed to the department at 482-2255. Kimball Electronics has unveiled its first financial results since becoming an independent company. Today, company officials announced the results for the first quarter of fiscal year 2015, ending September 30th. During the first quarter, the company saw net sales of $203.8 million. That's an increase of 16% from last year's first quarter. Gross profit as a percentage of net sales went up by 1.7% from last year's first quarter. Cash flows used for operating activities for the first quarter of fiscal year 2015 was at $4.5 million. In a news release, company chairman and CEO Don Sharon says the company's new business opportunities pipeline is healthy and there's good momentum as Kimball Electronics becomes a separate standalone publicly traded company from the recently completed spinoff from Kimball International. The spinoff was completed back on October 31st. Kimball Electronics' financial statements for the first quarter ending September 30th and were prepared on a carve-out basis, reflecting an allocation of costs incurred by its former parent company. The carve-out financial statements are not indicative of the complete future cost structure or expected future financial results of Kimball Electronics as an independent company, specifically in the areas of overhead, interest, and taxes. As we approach Christmas, folks and Santa Claus are getting ready to kick off holiday festivities in style this year. On December 1st, Santa and his elves will be making this year's special Christmas postmark available to the public. It will be available from 5 to 7 o'clock Central Time that evening inside of the original post office at the Santa Claus Museum and Village. Kids who are wanting to write letters to Santa this year are also invited to stop by the post office and visit with Santa. He'll be helping kids of all ages to get their Christmas lists finished up. Letters have to be received by December 20th in order to get a response from Santa and the elves. Now, this year is extra special for Santa Claus. It marks the 100th year for the Santa's Letters program. Pat Cook says the program has thrived over the years thanks to the help of many people.
Of course, it has been carried on for 100 years by volunteers, Santa Claus through the years helping the postmasters, and the United States Postal Service, who always delivers the letters no matter how they are addressed. So it's a great year for postmasters, for Santa, for the children, and for Santa's elves.
The first 20 visitors on December 1st will get a free commemorative pin in honor of the anniversary. Postmaster James Martin and Santa Jim Yellig are featured on the pins. Martin was the postmaster who started the letter program back in 1914. Meanwhile, Yellig was the original Santa who put in many hours to answer the children's letters. Volunteers are still being sought to answer the letters this year. Cook says this year will likely be another busy one.
We're always surprised. There are always enough letters that keep us busy every single day. Joyce and I and other volunteers are there every day except Monday. And we will come in the evening. If you want to come in the evening with a group, we'll be glad to schedule that for somebody to be there to help Santa. So it's always in the tens, thousands range, some years even more than that.
For more information or to volunteer, you can go online to santaclausmuseum.org. You can also call 812-544-2434. An Indiana aid worker who was beheaded by Islamic State militants has been eulogized on the floor of the U.S. Senate. Democratic Senator Joe Donnelly of Indiana praised Abdul Rahman Qassig yesterday as a man of peace and healing and caring. In a 16-minute speech, Donnelly said the Indianapolis native was a selfless, courageous young man with a big heart who saw suffering and wanted to help. Qassig was originally captured on October 1st of last year while delivering aid in Syria through a relief organization that he founded. The White House confirmed his death on Sunday after the Islamic State group released a video showing he had been beheaded, making Qassig the 5th Westerner to be killed by the group. Now, there will be 3 public services held for Qassig. The Sunday event will begin at 5 p.m. at Claus Memorial Hall on the Butler University campus in Indianapolis. There will also be Muslim prayers tomorrow afternoon at the Al-Huda Foundation Mosque in Fishers, and again at 6:45 Saturday evening at the Campus Center at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. Finally this evening, Indiana wildlife officials say bobcat sightings are increasing, and the state could someday allow a limited fur trapping season for the cats. Bobcats were classified as endangered from 1969 to 2005 when they were removed from Indiana's endangered species list. The State Department of Natural Resources has been tracking an increase in bobcat sightings statewide. This week, the agency posted on its Facebook page a photograph of a young bobcat that had been struck and killed by a car in central Indiana's Tipton County. The DNR says Indiana's bobcat population is expected to continue growing in areas with good habitat. Now, as mentioned, the agency says it's possible there may be a limited trapping season for bobcats in the future, especially in their strongholds here in southern Indiana and in the northeastern part of the state. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform with Kim Ficker and Debbie Barrett. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.